Hello everyone, in this tutorial I will show you how to split cells in Excel. Okay, so let's get started. First select the data set, then go to the data tab and select text to columns option. Okay, make sure the delimited option is selected. Now click on next and choose the appropriate delimiters based on your data set. As we have our data containing names and the first name, middle name and last names are separated by spaces, we are going to choose the space option. Here you can see the data preview after the cells are split. Okay, now click on next and change the destination if you want to keep the original data. Okay, so change A1 to let's say B1 and click finish and you will get the cells split like this. Okay, now let's say the data are separated by comma. Okay, then what to do? Well, it's the same procedure. So text to column, next, and instead of space we are going to choose comma. Okay, and here is the preview. Next, change the destination, finish. But now you see that the split cells contains leading or trailing spaces. Okay, which is not desired. So what you can do is just trim the cells using the trim functions. Okay, trim function, and you get the refined data. Okay, so just copy it and paste as values, and that's it. So this is how you can use the text to columns feature to split cells in Excel. Okay, now let's move on to the next method. Okay, so in this method we will use the flash fill feature. Okay, so in an adjacent column let's type in the first name only. Okay, so John. Okay, and then when you will try to do the same for the second name, so let's try in Emily and you will get all the suggestions for the first names only. Okay, so press enter and you get this result. You can also use the Ctrl E shortcut for flash fills. Okay, now again for the middle name type in Alexander. Okay, and then as soon as you try typing in rows you will get the suggestion like this. Okay, same for the last name Carter and then Davis. Okay, let's try for this data set. Okay, so 14th Street. Okay, sorry, then 22nd. Okay, now let's say Brooklyn. Sorry, Brooklyn, YN. Okay, and then okay, now New York and Florida. Okay, so this looks like a much better option to split cells. Okay, so now let's move on to the third method, and here we will try to use custom formulas to get the same result. Okay, so for the first names let's use the left function. Okay, and the number of characters should be up to the first space. So let's find the space. -1. Okay, now copy this formula and we get the first part. Now for the middle name we will use the mid function. Okay, the start number should be the position of the first letter for the middle name. So find space within A plus 1. Okay, and the number of characters should be the difference between the position of the second space and the position of the first letter from the middle name. Okay, so let's use the find function to find the position of the second space. So find space within A1, and the starting number should be, okay, the starting number is this. Okay, that means this is 15. That is the position of the second space minus the position of the first letter from the middle name. So find space A1 plus 1. Okay, and close the bracket. Okay, now copy the formula and we get the middle name. Now for the last name we use the write function. Okay, and the number of characters should be the length of the entire text minus the position of the second space. Okay, so let's do it in a different way than the earlier one. So first we're going to find a different character, that is, let's say a dash. Okay, but there is no dash in the text here in A1. So what to do? We're going to substitute the second space in the text. Okay, so the old text is space and the new text should be the dash. Okay, and we only want to replace the second space, so we'll use the instance number 2. Okay, now let's see. Okay, this is 15, so let's close the bracket. Okay, now we get the last name. Okay, now copy the formula and we get the same result as earlier. Now if your data is more organized like this, then the formula becomes easier. So for the left part, left only the first 3 characters. Okay, and for the middle part, mid starting number is 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we only need the middle 4 characters. So, and for the last part we will use the write function again. So write, the number of characters is 2. Okay, so that's how you can use formulas to split cells in Excel. Now let's move on to the next method. Okay, this time we'll use the text split function to split the cells. Okay, so let's insert the function text split. Okay, the text is A1 and the column delimiter is space in this case. Okay, press enter, and we get the same result as earlier. Okay, now let's try the next method. Okay, now let's try the Power Query tool to split the cells. So first select the data set, go to the data tab, and from the get and transform data group select from table or range. Now as our data set has no header, so we'll leave this blank and click OK. Now from the transform tab click on split column and choose by delimiter. Okay, and the delimiter in here is obviously space, so we are going to use the selected one. Okay, now each occurrence of the delimiter is selected, so we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so let's click on OK and see what happens. So this is the split cells. Okay, so and now we can just import this table into the Excel worksheet. Okay, so close and load to this cell. Okay, so existing worksheet, this one, click OK, and we're done. Okay, so this is how we can use the Power Query tool to split cells in Excel whenever necessary. Okay, now let's move on to the next method. Now let's try a simple VBA code to split the cells just as earlier. Okay, so first select the data set, then right click on the worksheet, go to view code. Okay, insert a new module. Okay, and paste this code in here. Okay, if your data set has delimiters other than space, then you can use a comma or that particular delimiter. Okay, so now if you run the code, you will get the same result as earlier. Okay, so this is also can be a handy way to split cells in Excel. Okay, using the VBA macro. Okay, now let's try a different formula, and that is the FILTERXML formula. Okay, so just type in this formula. Okay, here as the data set has space as the delimiter, the formula contains this argument, space argument. Okay, if the delimiter in your data set is comma, then replace this by a comma within double quotes. Okay, press enter, and let's wrap it with the transpose function. Okay, so the transpose. Okay, now copy the formula and you get the same result as earlier. Okay, so these are the ways to split cells in Excel. Hope you find this video useful. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.